Ohai. Vitebsk, the city in the northeast of Belarus, the administrative center of the Vitebsk region and the Vitebsk district. It is located in east part of the area on the western Dwina River. The third most populated, after Minsk and Gomel, the city of the country. The population -364,800 people. For January 1, 2020. The area -134.6 km. For August 16, 2017. The second in age city of Belarus. 974. After Polotsk. I rose on high coast of the western Dwina and Vitebsk, who named them on the way from the Varangian in Greeks. On a city legend of the 18th century, it is based by the Princess Olga. This city was formed as one of the centers of association of Slavic Krivichi, and a comfortable geographical location on crossing of the major tradeways promoted growth and his prosperity throughout the next centuries. I received the name Vitebsk from the river Vitebsk. Concerning origin of Agadronin, there are different versions. From Slavic to curl. From all Indo-European oud water. From the term to twist, the damp place, a bog. From Baltic * vid up, average river. From the Lithuanian vitis, vitin, rod. From Finno-Ugric vit, water. From the Ural weti, way, road, trace, or vit, water, and o, river, water. From the Finnish vietava, sloping, abrupt. From the Finnish vida, livski vide, drive, messages. From an ancient uncertainty root vit, important, water, moisture. The history of Vitebsk covers more millennium. According to a legend, the city was put by the Kiev Princess Olga in 974. Two unilateral horn crests dated by a turn of the 9-10 centuries are found in Vitebsk. The first mention of Vitebsk is in the Voskresensky Chronicle under 1021, where it is said that Yaroslav the Wise gave two cities, Vosvach and Vidbask, to the Prince Bryachislav Izyaslovich. Since the 12th century, Vitebsk was the capital of one of large destinies of the Polotsk. With Veslav Pryachizovich death in 1101 and division of his possession into 7 sons, the specific principality with the capital in Vitebsk was formed. Svetoslav, who became the first Vitebsk prince, got Vitebsk. After the Polotsk was ruined by Mstislav Veliki, Svetoslav was sent to Byzantium, and the Vitebsk throne departed to his son Vasilko. In 1132, having used a situation, he occupied as well Polotsk and remained the Polotsk prince till 1144. In 1139 the banished princes returned to the Polotsk, and Vitebsk Vasilkovichi began fight for Polotsk against Minsk Plebavikami and Drutsky Rogvolodani. In this fight the Vitebsk princes longer others managed to retain Polotsk. In the 12th century 4 representatives of Vitebsk reigned in Polotsk. In 1165-1167, owing to feudal intestine wars, the Vitebsk principality gradually began to lose value and got under the power of the Smolensk princes. However, this submission was short, and Vitebsk found independence again. At the end of the first half the 13th centuries the Vitebsk got to a sphere of influence of the Lithuanian princes, and in the middle of the 13th century, Grand Duchy of Lithuania.
Definitely it isn't known someone became the successor of the Prince Bryachislav Vasilkovich when that became a Prince Polotsk in 1232. When Bryachislav died in Polotsk the Lithuanian Prince Dovtevil, and in Vitebsk, his son Constantine began to rule.
The then former princes returned to Vitebsk again, dynastic communications with Grand Dukes Lithuanian became constant. Yaroslav Vasilkovich was the last specific Vitebsk prince. Yaroslav Vasilkovich died in 1320, without having male successors. Then the Vitebsk Principality, having lost independence, was included in structure of Grand Duchy of Lithuania.
Vitebsk under the name Vitebsk is mentioned in the section Lithuanian cities in Analytic, the list of the Russian cities distant and near.
The end of the 14th century.
The boundary of 10 dates the 14th centuries. The Vitebsk Bergborg manuscript found accidentally in 1959 at Liberty Square at analysis of the blown-up Nikolaev Cathedral.
In 1508 the Vitebsk voivodeship was formed. In 1566 during administrative reform the voivodeship was divided into two counties. County Vitebsk and Orshansky. In 1582 the Velitsky Volest is attached to the voivodeship. In 1623 citizens excited the Vitebsk rebellion, protesting mines planting of an Uniatstvo.
For murder of the Uniatsky Archbishop Jehoshaphat Kuntsevich of the power of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth deprived the city of the Magdeburg right and executed 19 people, including 2 bailiffs.
78 people are sentenced to death in absentia. Besides, the city was forced to pay off 79 zlotys, and the town hall was destroyed. Sapigi were the richest landowners of the Vitebsk voivodeship.
In 1676 the Vitebsk voivode January Rapovitsky built in the city the monastery of Bernardines with St. Anthony's Church Paduan.
In northern war Vitebsk, which was on the party of Swedes, was burned by order of Peter the Great.
As a result of the first section of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth of 1772 the Vitebsk voivodeship departed to the Russian Empire. Only the small part of the Orshansky county remained as a part of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth to the second section of 1793.
On July 28, 1812 in busy Vitebsk Napoleon decided to stop a campaign. Here I will stop. Here I have to look round, give rest of army and organize Poland. The campaign of 1812 is finished, the campaign of 1813 will finish the rest.
However, connection of the Russian armies in Smolensk forced Napoleon to change on August 3 plans and to renew a campaign to Moscow.
On January 1, 1919, according to the resolution of the A Congress of the Communist Party of Belarus, Vitebsk was a part of these. But on January 16, according to the decision of the central bodies of the Communist Party of Bolsheviks, the city was transferred into structure of Rostov.
In 1924 Mogilev was returned to Bees, where became the center of the district and area.
Since 1938 by the center of the Mogilev region. At the end of 1835 in Vitebsk was considered inhabitants 17861, from them men 9818, women 8043. In 1834-35, 26 males were considered Jews here. According to the first general population census of the Russian Empire, 1897. From 65871 residents, the Jewish language, Yiddish, was called the native 33455 people, 50.8% of all residents. Great Russian, Russian, language -19024 people, 28.9%. Belarusian -8037 people, 12.2%. Polish -3303 people, 5%. German -970 people, 1.5%. Latvian -771 people, 1.2%. For January 1, 2020, people lived in Vitebsk, that is the city to the third most populated in Belarus.
Most intensively the population grew after the Great Patriotic War, having reached by 1964 pre-war level.
In 2017 in Vitebsk was born 3468 and 3770 people died. Birth rate coefficient -9. 4 on 1,000 people. An average value on the Vitebsk region -9.6, over the country -10. Mortality rate -10.2 on 1,000 people.
An average value on the Vitebsk region -14.4, over the country -12.
On number been born in 2017, Vitebsk is in the last place among all regional centers of the country, on the number of the dead, in the third place after Minsk and Gomel. Birth rate coefficient in Vitebsk the lowest among all regional centers, mortality rate of the population the highest.
In the city it is registered the 86 religious communities of 16 faiths, including
49 communities of the Belarusian Exarchate of Russian Orthodox Church, 6 communities of the Roman Catholic Church, 2 communities of the Belarusian Greco-Catholic Uniatsky Church, 2 communities of Old Believers, and also community of Evangelic and Lutheran Church, Christians of Belief Evangelical, Evangelical Baptist Christians, Seventh-day Adventist Church and other Protestant churches, Judaic communities, Community of Krishnates, Community of Abaka, Community of Mormons, Community Jehovah's Witnesses. Vitebsk is located on banks of the river of the Western Dwina and its inflows of Vitby and Lukosa. The city is on the hilly area, in the western part of the Vitebsk height, which is cut through by ravines 10-12 m in depth, places up to 40 m. Fluctuations of heights within the city are about 80 m. Vitebsk is located on several heights which are from time immemorial called citizens' mountains. The most known, Dahovsky Mountain, Zamkova Hora, Stovo Mountain, Sharp Grave, Sharp and Sposky Mountain, Flat Mountain, Uspensky Mountain, Yuryeva Hill. Authorities. The Vitebsk City Council of Deputies is local representative body of the power. Residents choose in council for single candidate districts of 40 deputies for a period of 4 years. Deputies from the structure elect Presidium as a part of the Chairman of the City Council, his deputies and Chairman of the Constant Commissions.
The Chairman of the City Council of the current convocation is 5.1.
Belarus.
Executive power in Vitebsk is presented by the Vitebsk City Executive Committee, which chairman is appointed the president and is approved as deputies of City Council.
Since January 2020, the chairman of the Executive Committee of the City Soviet of People's Deputies is 5. V. Zaryankin. In the administrative relation, the city is divided into 3 areas. Railway, October, May Day. The average monthly nominal charged wage. To a deduction of income tax and some assignments. In 2017 in Vitebsk was 744.9 rup. The average salary in Vitebsk, the lowest among the regional centers of the Republic. The city takes the 20th place on salary level among 129 areas in the cities of regional submission of Republic of Belarus, and the second place in the Vitebsk region after Novopolotsk. 933.4 rup. Industrial potential contains more than 300 enterprises of the mechanical, metalworking, light and food industry, production of electric devices, construction materials and woodworking.
Outside the Republic, the products of the enterprises are known.
Hero, Belvest, Vitba, Marco. In 2021, the Council of Ministers of Republic of Belarus recognized 8 enterprises of Vitebsk as city forming. Vitebsk Vitebsk Carpets, Vitebsk Oil Extraction Plant, Vitebsk Meat Processing Plant, Vityaz Dolomite Display Design Office, Jest Moloko. Earlier, one of the city forming enterprises was called Knitted and Sewing Jest Kim. Bankrupt. The largest enterprises. Machine building, including machine tool construction and metalworking industry. Jest Zavod Visas, Jest Viston, Jest Vitebsk Plant of Electric Devices, Jest Vitebsk Instrument Making Plant, Jest Vityaz, Jest Vitebsky Plant of Radio Components, Monolith, Jest Gavista Plant, Enelson Energoka Komplekt, Enel Soyuz Kabel, Jest Vitebsk Motoromantny Plant, Vitebsk Skilled and Experimental Plant, Rup Balte, Jest Vitebsk Plant of Tractor Spare Parts. Till 2002, the Vitebsk machine tool factory of a name of Komintern worked. It is legally attached to the Viston plant, is taken down. Light industry. Jest Znamia Industriotsai, Jest Vitebsk Plant of Silk Fabrics, Jest Vitebsky Kovry, Suo Marko, Suo Belvest, Jest Krasny Oktябr, Vitebsk for Plant Unitary Enterprise. In 2012, the cotton mill, Kup Vitebsk, was liquidated. In 2015, Jest Kim was liquidated. By 2019, her property was sold out in parts for debts. Food industry. Jest Vitebsk Meat Processing Plant, Jest Moloko, Rup, Vitebelakroprom, Kpup, Vitba Confectionery, Jest Vitebsk Oil Extraction Plant, Jest Vitebsk Alcoholic Beverage Plant Prodviny, Suo, Twinbrover. Producers of construction materials. Jest Dolomit, Jest Karamika, Plant of Large Panel Housing Construction of Rup, Vitebsk House Building Plant. Forestry and Wood Industry. Jest Vitebskrev, Jest Vitefels. For 2009, by the enterprises of the city, it is made industrial output in the actual selling prices. taking into account raw materials supplied by the customer, for the sum of 2.966 trillion rubles. According to Inspectorate of the Ministry of Taxes and Tax Collection of Republic of Belarus for the Vitebsk region, August 2018 RUP, Vitebsk Vitebsk Unitary Enterprise, SUO, Belvest, Jesk Vitebsk Alcoholic Beverage Plant Pridviny, the RUP, Baltalcom, Vitebsk branch were 5 largest taxpayers of Vitebsk for January. In the city tram, trolleybus and bus routes work. River transport functions. The Belarus's first tram system, only in Bs, remained till 1929. The system of the tram in Minsk wasn't open yet. The fifth in the Russian Empire. The Vitebsk tram was put into operation 1898, a year earlier than in Moscow and for 9 years earlier than in St. Petersburg. Till 2020 I was the largest tram system in Belarus, on length of contact network and on the total length of routes. In July 2020 it was declared dismantling of tram lines on the large site in the northeast of the city. From the station Vitebsk many long-distance trains go to all large cities of Belarus, to the large Russian cities, including Moscow and St. Petersburg, the cities of the western and central Ukraine, Poland and also the Baltics. Local trains go to Polotsk, Orsha, Ezerish and Rudnya. In the 14-18 centuries at Orthodox, Catholic and Protestant churches and monasteries there were schools, Jesuit and Prairie. 1775. Boards, Orthodox brotherhoods, Basiliansky schools, etc. Acted. In the second half of the 16th century Calvinists founded school. From 1641 to 1820 I acted Vitebsk Jesuit. At the end of the beginning of the 19th century's Roman Catholic awards opened women's schools and boarding houses. After accession of the territory of modern Belarus to the Russian Empire at the end of the 18th century in Vitebsk the Russian schools, gymnasiums were open. The first Russian school is open at the end of the 1770th years. In 1784 at it 76 children studied. The men's gymnasium was open in 1808 and 6 on September 1834 in Vitebsk the seminary was open for training of parish teachers. In 1870 in Vitebsk also Mariinsky female gymnasium was open. Since 1872 health workers of average qualification were trained by the Vitebsk Medical Assistant School. In 1890 the Theological Seminary, and in 1902 Diocesan Women's School is open. By 1891 in Vitebsk there were 22 educational institutions in which about 3,500 pupils were engaged. In 1905 also female Alexevskaya. In 1906, a private men's gymnasium of Neresh is open. The Research Economic Institute of the Ministry of Economics and Institute of Technical Acoustics of National Academy of Sciences represent research establishments of Vitebsk. In the city 5 higher educational institutions are located. Vitebsk State University of P.M. Masharov. View. Vitebsk State Technological University. STU. Vitebsk State Medical University. VSMU. Vitebsk State Academy of Veterinary Medicine. SOVM. Vitebsk branch of the International University, MITSO. In the city, the highest spiritual educational institution is located. Vitebsk Theological Seminary. Average special educational institutions. Vitebsk State Polytechnical College. Vitebsk State Technical College. Vitebsk State Technological College. Vitebsk State Professional College of Light Industry. Vitebsk State Machine Tool College. Vitebsk State Industrial Teacher Training College. EU, the highest state college of communication, Vitebsk branch. Vitebsk State Musical College of I. Solutinsky. Vitebsk State Medical College. Vitebsk State College of Culture and Arts. Vitebsk State Professional College. Vitebsk State School of the Olympic Reserve. As of July 2021, work 49 comprehensive schools and gymnasiums. Is with specialized classes on studying of Chinese. 13 institutions of professional, secondary vocational education. Gymnasiums. 9 high schools. 37 auxiliary schools. 1 boarding schools. 1 cadet schools. 1 the sources and specified 178 days, schools of the Olympic Reserve. 1. Till 2010, Vitebsk had the status of the cultural capital of Belarus. In Vitebsk and its next suburbs, the settlements of Ruba and the Upper Course 22 libraries function. In the city, 3 main theaters work. National Academic Drama Theatre of Yaoukolas, Belarusian Puppet Theatre of Lyok and Youth Theatre, Kolso, and also 2 movie theatres. Since the 17th century, in Vitebsk, own architectural school of wooden architecture developed. Several museums: Regional Museum of Local Lore, Mark Chagall's Museum M. Shmeryov's Museum, the Museum of Soldiers Internationalists, the Vitebsk Contemporary Art Center work in the city. The Museum of Local Lore has 4 branches. The Museum of History of Private Collecting, the Vitebsk Art Museum, Idest. Weapons Memorial Estate, Zaraniovo, in the Vitebsk district, the Independent Exposition, Memories of Patriots of Vitebshchina of 1941-1945. The Contemporary Art Center has 2 branches. Art Space, Tolstoy, 7, and the Museum of History of the Vitebsk National Art School. Mark Chagall's Museum has 2 branches. House Museum and Mark Chagall's Art Center. In 2016, Regional Museum of Local Lore 138. 3,000 people, Contemporary Art Center -44.7 thousand people visited, Mark Chagall's Museum -34.2 thousand people, the Museum Minaya Shmeryev -12.1 thousand people, the Museum of Soldiers Internationalist of -8.8 thousand people. In the city are regularly carried out the International Festival, Slavic Market. The main platform, the Summer Amphitheater. City Festival Holiday of the Author's Song, Vitebsk Leaf Fall. Competition of Fashion Designers, White Amphora. International Festival of Modern Choreography of IFK. The International Tournament on Sports Ballroom Dances, the Vitebsk Snowflake. International Treble Festival, Moon Sensation.
The International Musical Festival of I. 1.
Solutinsky. International Shaidalovsky Days. Vitebsk Festival of Children's Creativity. Festival of Purim Shelley. Corporate Festival of Jest Gazprom Torch. Festival of Guitar Music Minstrel. Exhibition of Visual Arts of students of art specialties of higher educational institutions of the city of Vitebsk, Art Session. Orthodox Youth Odigitria Festival. The Vitebsk Zoological Park was founded on March 30, 1992 on the basis of Theatre of Animals. The first consists of two parts, of 1.3 hectares in the central part of the city, the second of 87 hectares in the residential district below.
In the center of Vitebsk historically developed building complex limited to Lenin, Yao.
Topola, Suvorov Streets, Polytechnical and 50. Tolstoy partially survived. Within this area continuity of planning network of streets of the end of the first half of the 19th centuries, inherited in turn lines of a Dorgoliarny era is looked through. Victory Square, Old and Ulanovitsky Cemetery. In the city religious architectural constructions are located. Assumption Cathedral, Pokrovsky Cathedral, Annunciation Church, Troitsk Markov Monastery, Sacred Spirits Monastery, Church of the Resurrection, St. Varvara's Church. In modern Vitebsk, 10 areas. Victory Square, the biggest in the city and the country. Liberty Square. Lenin Square. Town Hall Square. Former Voskresenskaya. Aspenskaya Square. Zamkovaya Square. Provoxelnaya Square. Proletarskaya Square. Smolenskaya Square. Tisachuletya Vitebska Square. For 2017 the total area of housing stock of the city increased from 6,376.1 thousand m up to 8,441.9 thousand m for 32%.
Security of the population with housing from 18.7 to 22.3 m.
Only person. On the total area of housing stock, the city with insignificant like takes the last place among the regional centers of Republic of Belarus. On security with housing, penultimate advancing Gomel. 20.1 m. Only person.
In 2014 the prices of the residential real estate in Vitebsk were the highest of the large cities of the country after Minsk and exceeded $1,000 for 1 m.
In 2017 the average price is 1 m. Housing I made $525, by 2019 I grew to $582. On this indicator Vitebsk more than twice concedes to Minsk, it is a little to Brest, Grodno, Soligorsk and Molodechno, and is flush with Gomel and Mogilev. As of July 2021 in Vitebsk 949 sports constructions function. including the Central Stadium. 17 sports schools, School of the Olympic Reserve, 3 centers of the Olympic Reserve work. On November 13, 1999, the ice arena was put in operation.
As of 2017 at Vitebsk, agreements on 8 winning relationship with 9 cities are concluded. As of 2017 at Vitebsk, the relevant contracts and cooperation agreements with 13 partner cities are concluded.
Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.